What's going on, guys? Omar Isaf here. Just chilling in my backyard. It's no big deal. Got a lot of real estate here. But seriously, I actually used to come here as a child to this ravine and play. If anyone knows in Toronto where this is, leave a comment below. Now, you guys kind of like these, let's call them scenic videos, where I just talk about a variety of different things. These are all one take. Why? Because fuck it, we'll do it live. We'll do it live! Fuck it! This video, I want to talk about some of the problems I have with a lot of the power building programs I see out there. Power building is basically just a phrase to indicate that you want to build both size and strength at the same time. And let's be honest, who the fuck doesn't want to do both things at once? Now, it's kind of become a buzzword recently, I'd say in the last few years, just because, once again, everybody kind of has that goal. You don't only want to look good. I think Instagram, social media, has brought a lot of attention back to the fitness industry, but also it's kind of made people take on several different goals. Because once again, it's cool to look great. Looking great's awesome, but also being able to lift some heavy shit, now that's badass. If you can combine both of them, now we're talking. So power building has really become popular because, once again, I don't know any pure powerlifter that wouldn't like to be a little bit bigger, a little bit more aesthetic. I don't really know any bodybuilder that wouldn't like to bench press or lift in general more weight. Hence, power building has really taken off. But what does it truly mean? First, a few different things I want to talk about before I critique most of the power building programs I see. Keep in mind, I'm not going to name names just because I kind of want to preserve that anonymity. So I won't name particular program names. So this is a general critique, or in general, talking about people that try and combine strength with hypertrophy. Okay, so the first thing we definitely have to get off of our chest here is that a pure strength program is superior for getting stronger than a power building program is for getting stronger. And this seems fairly obvious, but if I want to get better, let's say at the big three lifts, the squat, bench, and deadlift, I really got to focus on that. What's the big buzzword? Specificity, which means that in order to increase those lifts, those big three, most of your lifting should comprise of those big three. So a lot of powerlifting programs or strength programs are really focused on those big three movements. Power building, because the goal is also to build muscle, so you have two goals going off at once, which do work in conjunction, but not perfectly in harmony. It adds more volume, more variation than you would need if you just wanted to get strong at your current body weight. So I'd say that a pure powerlifting program or pure strength program is superior to a power building program in terms of getting stronger. Now, we could talk about trying to build size, and this is where I'll begin my critiques of some of the power building programs. So basically, most power building programs are glorified powerlifting programs with some extra curls and some extra assistance movements, and that's basically it. So they take kind of the base of what makes a powerlifting program, so focusing on the big three, trying to get stronger, focusing on that, usually using RPE, so you do big movements like the squat, bench, deadlift. And then they say, you know what, after your bench session, do some curls. Do some curls and we're calling it power building. And that's not the case at all. Why? Well, simply put, in my personal opinion, trying to get stronger and bigger at the same time doesn't just mean that in that same session you do it all at once. I've given examples of, I call it the athletic aesthetic philosophy of combining both of them, and I've explained in detail what I mean. But you can't just add in a few movements in addition to your, once again, powerlifting training and call it power building, because essentially all you're doing is strength training with a little bit of extra volume. And that's cool, but here's some of the main problems. One, with power building programs, they're not periodized. So a big gap here, a big hole, is that all, or I should say most intelligent strength programs are based around some sort of periodization. And what does that mean? There's a plan, there's a trajectory. Whether you use linear periodization, use the conjugate method, you do DUP, so daily undulating periodization. These are all fancy ways of just saying that there's a plan to make you stronger. You can't just keep adding more and more weight every single week. Unless you're a beginner, that's going to fall through. So usually it works in some sort of wave. If you use linear, if you use DUP, where you'll lift more weight some weeks, you'll handle more volume some weeks, and you just wave it up and down. And over time, your average load lifted week to week increases. That is basically one of the central tenets of getting stronger. Okay, problem. Most power building programs don't have periodization built into it. They'll normally give you a rep set range, and then they'll give you an RP, and RP can definitely work. Mike Teixeira, brilliant coach, talks all about that, but they're not implementing it in the right way. There's not that periodized 12 or 16 week plan to actually make you stronger. You're doing the big movements, but you don't have really any direction with those movements. The second thing I want to talk about is how you train on those days. And I said that before, where you can't just throw in curls at the end of your bench session. Why? Well, it's kind of a hierarchy when you think about it. Whatever you do first in a session is what you're going to be able to put the most effort into. So if you do the bench or the squat or the deadlift first, which is a smart idea, that means that all your attention is going to go towards that main movement. You'll put in the most amount of effort, and that's where you'll grow the most, from doing that main movement. When you work it down on the line, you've already done 5, 6 movements, you're already feeling fatigued, and then you throw in curls. Do you think the quality of that set is going to be high? It's not. Why? Because you're only doing a few reps. You're only doing a few sets. You're doing a 3x10, and that's really not a lot of volume. It's really not a lot of focus at the end of the workout. What you should do instead, in my opinion, people have used that phrase concurrent training, which has traditionally been used for endurance at the same time as hypertrophy. But really what you should do is train differently on different days. So you can have 2 goals, the power building approach of trying to build strength and build size at the same time. One way that you can do it that I think is slightly superior is that on some days you train more like a powerlifter, so you have a periodized program over the 12 or 16 weeks, whatever block that you're doing. But then on other days you train more like a bodybuilder. What does this mean? Well, shorter rest time, more exercise variation, just focusing on some of those show muscles. In that way, because you're dedicating days to that, you're dedicating bodybuilding days to just trying to look better. From the get-go, you could put all that energy and focus on your bodybuilding, and on the strength days, focus on getting stronger, instead of just doing strength days and at the end tacking on a little bit extra volume. I think this is a more superior method. Now, how do you make this work? You would increase the frequency. So you would also increase the volume a little bit, but frequency would be the key. Frequency you would increase from a normal 4 times per week or 5 times per week program. You do 6 times per week. Why? Well, it allows you to spread out that volume, but really focus on what you're trying to do on that day. So you do 3 days that would be more strength focused, so squat, bench, deadlift, those sorts of things. And then 3 other days you do everything that you want to bring up. So your back, what you want to do, a lot of chin-ups, you want to do a lot of pull-downs, maybe some straight arm pull-downs. Variation would be key. And you'd be using RPE as the weeks go on with your bodybuilding to evaluate how that particular portion of your training is going. So, guys, when we talk about power building, I wasn't trying to shit on anyone. I wasn't trying to really critique anyone in particular. Just the methodology when you try and approach a lot of goals at once. And let's face it, we all want these goals. We want to get bigger. We want to get stronger. You need to be intelligent with the way that you approach it. Don't be fooled with just programs that tack on this fancy, let's call it a buzzword, honestly, power building, and think, damn, this is going to make me strong. It's going to make me jacked. Maybe not so, young Padawan. Anyways, that is all the time I have. Some people asked me about power building programs. I thought, finally, I will make a video on this. If you liked the video, actually something cool, we're currently developing right now, myself, Sam Mike, Bart Kwan, for Kaizen, a power building program. And what I want you to do, I want you to like this video and leave a comment below. If you want us to release maybe a free template for that, we'll do that. Just like this video, leave a comment below, and I will make it happen. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the scenery. I'll be seeing all you guys, my rascals, in that next video. Peace.
Eat your vegetables, eat your vegetables, eat your fucking vegetables.